Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel Made with Love. My name is Heather and today is Wednesday, December the 4th of 2024. So today is day 3 of my 12 days of Christmas sewing, and what I'm going to do today is I'm going to make those hanging kitchen tea towels. This is one of the first sewing projects I've done and I love it how quick and easy it is. So I've got these pot holders and oven mitt set that I got from Dollarama for $3.75, and I got the matching microfiber little dish towel, and this was $2.25, so $6 for this 3-piece set. And I have to say, as a Christmas gift, just this alone, the 3 pieces by themselves, is really nice. But what I'm gonna do is sew the kitchen towel onto the pot holder so then it becomes a hanging one. I've got a whole bunch of them. They were right here behind me. Oh, I see they're over there. Just one second. Yeah, so these are ones I've made in the past. Now, right now upstairs in my kitchen, I actually have 3 of these hanging on my stove. So what did I do? Of course, when they get packed, and then sometimes the string kind of gets knotted and twisted. There, did I do it right there? Okay, so you see this was just the pot holder, and you just stitch the tea towel on and you add a button and then you can hang it, and then also with the button you can hang the little matching pot or the oven mitt on here. And it makes a really nice gift, like whether or not you actually sew them together as like this set or you just give them as this set. That's really nice gifts. I've got a bunch of these that I have made a few years ago that have not been given out. So this year I'm going to make a few more, and then I've got a whole stack that I've made in previous years to give out. Now, it is cheaper if you can find them at the Dollar Tree versus Dollarama. Dollar Tree just had odd pieces, and sometimes it's hard to find. Later in the end of November, it was harder to find coordinating pieces. But like I said, for $6, I mean, this is a really nice 3-piece. They even had the tea towels, like if you didn't want to sew it just as a Christmas gift, they had it for, I think they were $2.50 or $2.75, something like that, I forget. And you actually got this one, plus you had a straight red or green, just another microfiber cloth. So if you didn't want to stitch it, or if you had, like I was looking at saying that double pack would have been a really good deal. But I don't need the microfiber cloths, and I was not giving it as a set. So first thing I'm going to do is I got to cut all the tags off here and get everything lined up and ready to sew. So I'll be back in just a few minutes. All right, so I've got all my tags clipped off, and I've got them all in their groups. So I have 2 that have the poinsettias in the wreath, 2 with the nutcrackers and houses, and 2 with the cardinals. I have to say the cardinals have to be my favorite one. So, okay, I'm just going to set the oven mitts aside. I don't need those. So I'm going to work on these. I'm just going to do 1 of each. Right now my thread in here is a very light purple. I don't know where my other, what are they called? Little, bobbins are for this sewing machine. So I'm just going to keep it in the purple. I will switch over when I run out of purple thread. I just don't feel like trying to dig through stuff. If I did that, I would definitely not get any of this crafting done or the sewing done that I would love to get done. And with that also being said, I also don't have any straight pins at the moment. I can't find them. I had a bunch like a week ago. I found a whole bunch when I dumped out some boxes, and I stuck them all in a little glass jar, and I don't see the jar. I thought it was sitting here on one of the bookshelves, and I don't see it. So I'm just going to use clothespins to attach these. Now I will say the one thing about these is, so you've got 2 options to do this. one is I love the picture, and I love when they're folded in half, you get the picture. But the cardinal goes this way. When it's folded in half, if you want, you know, the button, it's going to be this way. Now, what I did is I have some like this, and so I actually button them this way on my kind of backwards. So the button will be to the back. Then I don't get that to hang the oven mitt on, but then the cardinal or whatever is up here is the right way. I was thinking of another way would be to clip this little thing off and attach it to the other side, which I was going to do, but like I said, I don't have any red thread in here, so I just don't want to do that for these ones. The other option, of course, is to do it backwards. So then you just get the red with this, which I think looks, you know, just as good. I'm sorry, my cat is eating something. 1 second. Sorry, he found a string of Christmas lights and was trying to eat through the wire. So there is sometimes you have to move the animals, and now he's gone back trying to see if there's any more over there. Like I said, I just got a whole bunch of boxes dumped out right now. Okay, so sorry, I'm just thinking, oh, so I mean, you can always do it with the red, then you don't have to worry about that. Actually, that would look nice, but I really love the idea of having the cardinal on top. I think they're all going to end up being that way. The little soldiers, yeah, see, they're all going to end up with being upside down. I had another idea that I thought might work as well, but I haven't tried it out, so I'm not sure if it will work. And my idea was to sandwich 2 pot holders on either side with this in between them. Oh, just a second. Why does this look? Oh, I didn't even notice that till just now. One side's got the soldiers going the right way. The way this is printed, the back side of the soldiers are going to be upside down. I didn't even notice that till just now. I honestly, I had no idea. I thought that they were like everything else where it's half printed one way and the other half printed the other way. Okay, so when I do the soldiers, I'll have to make sure I've got it going the right way. Because this one is the wreath and the wreath. This one is the cardinals and the cardinals. And I just assumed the soldiers were the same way. Okay. So, I guess I kind of forgot. But yeah, I guess, yeah, I was going to have the thing sandwiched between here and here. So you'd end up using 2 pot holders and 1 tea towel. That is going to make it hang a lot longer. So I wasn't sure if that was going to work, but that is something I'm going to try. Not today's craft, but that is something I do want to try another evening when I've got a little more time. I got to watch the clock because I do have to go fairly soon to go and I got to go do, give blood. Got to go do a blood exam today. So I just got to keep watching the clock. And I know this chair is squeaking on me right now. Okay, I guess I will start with, okay, I got this one in front of me. I will do the poinsettias first. Now I'm going to trim off this tag here. Sometimes you can neatly pull it or I can trim it off. Sometimes I can't trim it as close as I'd like to. I just need to find my precision scissors. I had them the other day. I think they're probably still, if they're not right here beside me, then I think I must have left them upstairs when I was crafting the other day. Okay, and then just open this up. And we'll just get 1. I'll just do 1 and then I think I'll have time to start 1 and then I will have to go. I wanted to get this done, but I'm just looking at the clock and it's like, okay, so I need to have it so then for sure that the inside is going to fit in this. So I got to make sure that when I fold it, it's even. I would love to bring out my ironing board. That's usually what I work with when I'm doing sewing. Just grab my ironing board. It gives me a longer, smoother surface. But that is going to work. And these, because these were folded in the store, they do have the crease already. And then this one here, I'm just going to crease it so I kind of know where the center is. And I gotta this way. I gotta stitch it right side to right side. I've done that in the past where I've pinned everything backwards, and then I've had a couple where I actually stitched them backwards, and I had to go and get the seam rippers and take everything apart. But this looks like about the center right here, and it looks pretty even to me. So I'm just gonna use, like I said, just using what I have right now. So see that these are safety pins, so I just think, you know, if I use these, if I use my safety pins, I'm gonna end up with holes in the material, and I don't want to give gifts out with holes in them. So I'm just gonna use these. That one's got magnets on it. Some of these were used for kids crafting, like that. And then I'm also gonna just gonna fold this up, and I'm just gonna pin, or I guess clip these together, because sometimes these ends here, if they move while I'm moving it onto the machine, then it kind of unfolds, and then so I'm just gonna clip these, so it just kind of helps keep everything a little more straight. And my animals are gonna knock my tripod over. Okay, so I'm not going to be stitching on these. I'm just trying to get these hold still, especially since I don't have the straight pins. So, but if I just kind of pin, like I said, this extra piece together, then it's not in my way. One's broken. And like I said, I would love to switch up my thread. I just can't find my other thread or my bobbins. It's actually more my bobbins that I need to change out, not so much the thread. I do have some cheaper dollar store thread, but I'm going to use this lilac one because that's what my machine has in it right now. And I believe I bought this thread from Walmart, so probably about $6 or something for this spool of lilac thread. Oops. I'm going to my sewing machine over here. I'm going to turn it on. Find my foot pedal here, just making sure it's where I can reach it. And then for this, I am going to go to a zigzag stitch. So I'm going to move it to number 5. I think I'll do 5. And then when I click on here, this stuff here, like position and the total stitch length and stuff, automatically adjust. I'm not touching that. Same with up here. I have my tension set to 3. I think 3 is a pretty good thing to have my tension on. I very rarely play with that unless I'm doing something very specific, and then certain materials, then I will change the tension. Also, if I'm stitching, I think I need to tighten or loosen the tension, then I'll adjust it. Usually what happens is it's usually whatever I'm doing that's causing my thread to kind of snap or do whatever. Oops. Oh shoot, I just turned my machine off. I just went to move it. And now I gotta redo that. So I'm just gonna move it back to number 5 because that's a good zigzag one. So that's the one I kind of like to do for zigzag. I know the craft I made yesterday, I think I had it on 4. So I'm gonna try 5 today and just see, you know, it's a different type of zigzag pattern. Like I said, usually if I have a problem with my stitching, it's because I'm the one stitching. So I'm the one who messes up the stitches. So I'm just gonna get this right on here. I think that's about the center. And I'm actually gonna start just, the pot holder has this seam around here. So I'm gonna start, this is on this side. I'm gonna start my first stitches just above that and then back stitch down and then back up. Just because I always find if I try to get my stitches to start on this rolled seam here, trying to get past all this other stitching, my needle gets caught. So I just find it easier for me to just start just above where the trim is, go up a little bit and then back stitch all the way down to the edge of the trim and then start going up. Hope that makes sense. I'm not a sewer. I don't know all the technical terms for everything. I'm just kind of learning. So, although every time I do a project, I learn a little more. this down. Why is it not? Okay, there it goes. Okay. I don't know why it wasn't moving. I was pressing it down. I'm going to turn this down just a little bit. So I'm going to do a couple stitches. And back stitch. Why is it not back stitching? Uh-oh. Okay. Okay, now I will get this going. So if I'm having trouble, it's because it's something I'm doing. It's not moving. There we go. There. Like that. Not the neatest row stitching, but you know, that's where I put the scissors. You know, I'm not too worried about that. Like I said, every time when I'm making this stuff, my first one usually has the most crooked stitches, and then by the time I've done a whole row of these, the weight of them kind of helps hold everything down. Just take those out and look at that. That is done. It doesn't take very long. There's just the basic stitching there. It looks like that. It's a little crooked, as it kind of did something. It kind of pulled funny when I started. But I don't make these to sell. I just make these for gifts for friends and family. So there is that. Like I said, the back has the bow is upside down, but I really don't think you're going to really notice that if the bow's facing upside down. It just depends on how people want to pin it or button it onto their fridge or handle of the oven or cupboard door. Because I know some people who don't have the oven, so they just kind of clip this here and put it over like their kitchen cupboard door handle. Then it would hang like this. So next is I'm just going to go find my buttons, and I'm going to stitch a button on there. But next I'm just going to continue, make a few more of these, and I'll be back when I get a few more done, and they should go a lot faster once I get this started and I'm, you know, pinning everything. And so I'll be back when I get more of these pinned and finish sewing things together. All right, so I've got all of them clipped together, so I'm just going to stitch them all. Just the putting in the closed pins for now, but just want to make sure I get everything lined up. Just start sewing, and I'm just gonna sew these all together, one right after the other, and then I can snip off the extra string between them. I just find it works so much easier if I just kind of do things, you know, in that order. I just did the first one. Now I've got them all, the rest of them all pinned, and now I'm just gonna stitch. Doesn't want to go through. Yeah, I snapped my thread. That's what I thought. Okay. I guess I got a free thread. I knew something was wrong. Just That's why I said I try to start above here. When I try to start right here, I have trouble getting past this and then back and then coming forward. So I will be back in a minute. I just gotta, actually it's not much of a threading, just this part here. It may not take me too long to rethread just this part. If it snaps further up and I gotta do everything, sometimes it takes me a little longer, but there. And where my steam ripper? I don't see it, but I got this little thread clipper. There. Just get some of those threads out. Okay, so now I will retry this. I'll go a little slower. Just make sure this is all still lined up underneath. Everything is still lined up. I'll retry this. And my thread snapped again. Okay, well, that's how I'm going to stitch them. So I guess I'll be back when I get them all stitched and figure out why my thread is snapping on me. I think it's just, I don't know. I think I'm just trying to do this too fast. So I'm going to press this down to a slower stitch and I will be back when I get these stitched together. Alright, I got these ones straightened out. I figured out what I did wrong with my sewing machine. The thread got wrapped around the needle. I've done that before. The thread, I don't know. I wrapped it around the needle and I had a little knot tied all around the needle. So the thread couldn't go past that point. I've done that lots. I don't know how I've done it. But I got these three started. So there's the wreath, the cardinals, and the nutcrackers. And I've got the next set of three all together, ready for me to sew. It's time for me to go for a little while, so I've got to go do some running around. So I will be back as soon as I get back. I will finish these and sew the buttons on. Alright, so I'm back. Did the blood stuff. But while I was out, I stopped at Dollar Tree and I found a few more. So I'll be making 2 more of these with the little gnomes. And I also stopped at Dollarama and bought a pack of straight pins. So I'm going to be cutting off the tags off these ones, repinning these ones, taking out the clothespins and putting in actual straight pins. Use this little clipper tool here to remove the labels. I'm just throwing this on the floor. I've got a pile of garbage that I was sweeping up, so I'm not sure where my garbage can is at the moment. I'm just going to snip off these labels off of the pot holders. You don't have to. I mean, these are brand new. If you want to give some people know they're brand new, you can leave them on. But I like to just trim those off. I leave the tags on the oven mitts and the dishcloths. These are the ones I made. I'm just going to set those there. Put my little cap on these little snipper scissors, whatever they're called. Otherwise, I know I'm going to end up cutting myself next time I go to reach for them. So I'm just going to reline this up. And sometimes there will be some loose little bits. Like I said, these are from the dollar store. It does happen where there's just extra little pieces of loose threads and things. I just snip them off. I'm just going to fold this into thirds as even as possible. Open this container. Just put a couple pins in here at the bottom. It kind of holds. Oh, shoot, look at that. Brand new pin, and I just bent it because I was going through. There we go. Just a couple pins just to hold this bottom parts where they're folded, just to kind of keep them in place. And I flip it over. I have like the center fold and figure out where the center would be on here and just line those up and then just pin these in place. I'm going to pin the other, I guess I got 4 more to pin. I'm just going to go pin those quickly and I will be back to stitch them. Just for some reason having trouble getting these pins to go through all this material. I don't think it's that much material for these pins to go through, but for some reason these pins just don't want to go through. Oh, I can't get this pin to go through the pot holder. There we go. I don't know why. There we go. So I got these pins. I'm going to go and pin all these ones and then I will be back. I've now got them all pinned. Now this top one here is one of those ones where I had to take the thread out, and I just found a piece of thread I forgot to remove. So I'm going to use zigzag. I'm going to use a 4. Like I said, I'm just, whatever these things say is what it's going to be at. I don't really adjust too much of the position, the length of the stitch, or my tension. I usually keep my tension on 3. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. So I'm going to just quickly stitch these up one at a time. No stopping in between. I really like this type of sewing where I can just get my projects all, if I'm doing a big batch of them, get everything pinned and then just sew everything continuously. And I hope my sewing machine is not gonna, my thread's not gonna break like it did last time. So that's why I start just above that line. Something happened is I see no stitches behind. Oops. What did I do wrong? This is caught. Okay, I have no idea what happened, but it did not make one single stitch. I don't know why. That's all like that. Thread my needle here, and I will retry that because no thread even came out. I don't know what happened. Just it got caught, and then it's all lined back up here, and try again. Stitching. The next one, like I said, I'm just going to continuously just sew all of these together. last one. So when I make these, I usually make like several at a time, and it's always fun to do projects like this where you're making multiple at one time. Did something. Right here. Like there. See what happened, because it made a funny sound, and then it just completely stopped stitching, and I didn't see any thread go through, so I'm gonna have to, oops. Snippers don't want to cut this thread. There we go. I don't know what happened. It just ended up with extra thread all of a sudden wrapped around the needle. So set that one aside, and I will redo that one in a minute. But I'm just going to bring these ones over. I'm going to unpin them first. Them apart. There's that one. And that one. And that one, and then the final one here. There should be one more pin. Oh, don't know where the other pin went. That was in this one. Okay. Maybe I forgot to pin that side. And there is that one. So now I just have to go and get the buttons, and I will be stitching the buttons. Now I will say this one here, I have made, sometimes they get this not perfectly lined up in the center, and you get a little bit longer spot and a shorter spot. Like I said, if I was making these to sell, this would definitely be not one that I would sell. But because I make these for myself or family and friends, I've had nobody really complain if they've ever been a little crooked. But I say this would be my most crooked one I've ever made to date. I don't know what happened here. I'm just looking and seeing. I think I was using the lines of where it was folded, and I don't think it was folded quite, you know, in the center. That does happen. I mean, I've made these and I've done like with the measuring tape, and I'll try to measure and find the exact center, but these are made from the dollar store, and they're always so crooked. But as those ones are done, And these are the ones I made earlier today. So I got these ones done. So that's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And when I fix this one, that will be 8. So I'm just going to fix this one. Just got to take this stitch out, re-thread my machine because I don't know what happened. And then when I get this done, I will be back to sew the buttons on. Alright, I am back. I couldn't find my buttons, but lucky for me, I guess, I had to drive my daughter to work, so I just got home. And she works right beside a Dollarama, so I just grabbed this container of the assorted buttons for $4. This was in the Christmas section. I had seen this the other day, and I knew making these I was going to need buttons, but I really thought I could save myself $4 and look for all my buttons. I haven't come across anything, so I decided to buy these ones. My other option would be to go to Walmart, and I think it's like $6 or $7 for the tub of buttons at Walmart. So I thought I'll just grab these ones. So I'm just going to decide if I want to use the red or green. I'll look for the largest ones, but first I just want to see the, each button has their own little different shapes and how many buttonholes. So do you want to do 2 buttonholes or 4 buttonholes? And then the next thing would be, of course, looking at this and seeing, well, would that look good with the green button or the red button? Then you also want to make sure that the button is big enough that it's going to go through here, but hold it. The button's going to be, good size. So this would be probably about the smallest that you would go. I'm not quite sure what size this is. Like, obviously, like buttons this size here. See the size difference. This one would be too small. This one might be just a little bit too small. So I'm going to stump this out and see kind of what sizes of buttons there are. And I really think with these ones, I'm going to stick with the red over the green. I'm just going to find many of these largest buttons that I can find here that are red. Like I said, there's a couple different styles to these, so I'm just kind of figuring out which ones I like. I kind of like the ones with the 2 holes, but I don't think there's enough unless I did some green. I don't know, I'm trying to look at this. See this one with the cardinals? Green button because it's got some green in there, but I still think I'd rather just do the red button. So I'm not even in the shot. I'm sorry. I'm trying to figure this out. Okay. So I think that one will have the red. Now the gnomes. I think the gnomes would look good with the green buttons because it has the plaid. It's got the red and green, and there's just a lot of other green. So once you decide which buttons you want, you gotta just stitch them on. And so I'm just gonna use some just regular black thread for my initial stitching. And then to go over top of it, I've got different shades of red or green embroidery floss, and just do a couple stitches with the floss just to give it some color, just kind of definition. And this is also a bit thicker. It will help hold the buttons on longer. So I am just going to, oops, I know that's off it. So I am just going to find out, I have 8 of these, I think that's what I made. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yep, so I'm just gonna find my 8 buttons and stitch them on, and I will be back when I get the buttons sewn on with the black and I'm ready to do the floss over top. Right, I've got 5 with the buttons sewn on, so I'm just going to show you how I do it. I just thought to be a little bit faster. So you just kind of fold it in half, and you see where the loop is going to come down. So you need the button to be just in that area. So Just gonna get my thread going through here. Sometimes these needles just don't want to go through the layers of the pot holders. And here I've got all this thread and it's not coming through. Okay, there we go. So I decided to do 4 with the red buttons and 4 with green buttons. And I decided to make them all with the 2 buttonholes. That way I kind of like, if I keep certain things the same, I'll know kind of what, you know, what year I kind of made them, or that I made them at, or which ones I made at the same time. And just a couple of these stitches through here. Go. And then also I'm making lamb burgers from scratch tonight, so I've got my kitchen timer on. So I've got not too much longer now. I have the timer set for 1 hour because I have to freeze the cubed meat before I can put it through my grinder. So I'm waiting for my kitchen timer to go off. I'm just trying to see if I can get these done before I have to go and finish making supper. But I think I should have enough time. Yeah, a thing of going to get my daughter, picking her up from school and driving her to work was not supposed to happen. She left her wallet at home early this morning, so I've made several trips out of the house today that I wasn't expecting to. I thought I'd be able to sit down and make all these at once and not have to run and do anything. But no, just had other stuff to plan for today. But I'm glad I was able to, you know, if I had to go pick her up, then I was able to stop in the dollar store and grab these buttons, or else, I don't know, I'd have to, you know, probably go pick up buttons probably when I went to get my husband tonight anyway, so then that'd be a lot later before I'd be able to get this craft finished. And just trim off the extra thread and clip the button through, and I've got these 2 more to do. Same thing, just finding where the button's going to be. Just gotta make a little knot in the end of this thread, or else if I don't do that, I'm gonna pull the thread completely through and then realize I forgot to knot my thread. I've done that lots. But yeah, I think I'm gonna be able to get these done before my timer goes off and I gotta go finish making supper. What did I do? It's always trying to get the button started at first is always where just don't want to usually end up tangling my thread. And then sometimes I'm sewing the button and I'll sew it on crooked or upside down or sideways. So I'm just trying to make sure I get all this. Like I said, when I first was making these, I was stitching my buttons completely on with the embroidery floss. But then I found sometimes some of these holes are just so small that it was so hard to get a couple. Let's see, I'm not even paying attention. Then I put knots in my thread. But then I was finding it was just really hard to, you know, go through the buttonhole enough times to make sure it was secure. That's when I decided, okay, what if I stitch it on with just regular thread, and then I can go later with the decorative thread over top, and it seems to work so much better that way. And of course I'm talking and I got my thread knotted. There. And oops. Do a couple of these little knots here at the back, and then one more button to sew on. Like that. Oops. And one last button, and then I can get the emery floss. I've got 2 shades of green and 2 shades of red. So that's where you can have the fun, is finding the contrasting colors or matching colors with the thread. And I just decided to use just the black thread just to stitch these on, only because my choices was black or a gold color, but I kind of need my gold thread. I don't have a lot of it. And it was bought specifically for, the gold thread I have was bought for a specific project that I was gonna make about 2 years ago, which I haven't even started. Well, I started. I've got my material kind of cut out and pinned, and that's as far as it got. And I say for that one, I don't even think I started any filming for it. I think that, or maybe it was more than, no, maybe that was before my channel, or just when I started my YouTube channels. I'm not quite sure now, but I've got some other projects that I found unpacking, and I found these stuff I was making like years and years ago. Still, everything is, the fabric is all cut and pinned. I just have to sew. I'm pretty sure there's other people who've got projects like that lying around somewhere. Things get moved, you get busy, and then you come across them like years later and like, oh, I never gave that as a gift because I never finished it. Okay, so there's that. So now, oops. Just gonna grab these and just see, okay, that's green, green, red, 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 green, and green. So I'll do the green ones. So like I said, I've got 2 different shades of the green. I don't know if these have any colors on them. 6 strands. Well, this is just says 621. And this one is from a different kit. And it says it's a 0262. So I don't know. I just picked these up, you know, wherever. Sometimes the dollar store has like the big bags of just get a bunch of random things. Secondhand store, same thing. You can get a big bag full of a whole bunch of this emery floss. So I'm just going to look at the color here and decide which one I'd like. Although I also have the red. You know what? I think I'm going to do the red on this poinsettia, only because I just don't think these greens are the right shade of green unless I can find another shade of green, which I've got more in this drawer over here. Looks like it's the only shades of green I have. I think I went through. I think these are all the same numbers. Yeah, that's 861, 621, 861, but they all look this exact same to me. Like, let's see. Yeah, 621. Oops. Let's see, here's another. Oh, it looks, I don't know, different one. No, I guess that's kind of what there was. Where's this? Yeah, 861. So it's basically what I have is just those couple colors. So I think for this one I will do the red because I think it will just look better, and my tripod doesn't want to stand up now. There, okay. And so I will do this one, show you how I finish them off. I guess if my timer should be going off any moment now. Don't need a lot. And this says it's a 6 strand. I'm keeping all 6 strands on here. Just have to flatten it out so I can get it through my needle. And I know there's so many different techniques for, threading needles. I have tried so many, and I'd say most of them just don't work for me. So I'm just gonna thread my needle and just unbutton it. Trying to get where I do not want to go through. I keep just hitting the back of the button instead of finding the buttonhole. Like that. I got some black thread kind of pulled up. We'll do one more if we can. I do. Got this now all tangled. Just got a big knot in the emery floss. So I'm just gonna snip it off. Figure out what I did there. Just kind of all snip that. Trying to do my finishing little knot, and I got my knot tangled. There we go. This one done. I think my timer is going off, so I gotta go make supper, but I will be back when I get these finished, and I will display them on my oven handle. So I'll be back very soon. Right, so I've got them all stitched, and I've got them all hanging on here. This is the one thing that works when you have like a double oven. You can hang twice as many little things on your oven door. So there they all are. So I got the 2 cardinals. I got the cardinal there and one there. The ginger or the nutcrackers, and that one's upside down. I mean, if I I don't know, just it's kind of funny, but I'll just show this. So this is the way that the button normally goes, but to correct it, you know, if you just button it this way, and look at that, now it's going, everything's going the right way. Now of course when you do it this way, now you lose the button up here, because I usually use the button with the loop on the oven mitt goes over the button like that as a nice set. And see, when it hangs, you don't even notice that this kernel is upside down. For this one, I was thinking what I might do is just sew another button on this side. And then, you know, you get that double button to be able to hang stuff up. But there, got them all made with all the matching oven mitts. See, so this one, like that. So there are the all 8 sets that I have made. Sorry, I just got, oh, that hurt my knee. Again, I just want to say thank you so much to everybody who's subscribing to my channel and watching my videos, and I will see you in the next ones. Bye.